Schrader here with On3 and wearesc.com, and it's April 1st. We're kind of past the playing April Fool's pranks and all that kind of stuff. We did a little one this morning saying that there was going to be another 5-star commit. Technically, we're probably not wrong, but one of the guys that did play a prank, one of the USC recruits that did, was Philip Bell. And he had put on, I think, his Instagram story that he was going to commit today at 4:30. And I think there was a prediction that went in immediately for USC. And I talked to him today, and it was kind of his April Fool's joke on the people that follow him. But we did talk, and there's a good chance he's going to be back at USC on April 8th. He's got some upcoming visits to Tennessee. Just had a really good visit to Ohio State, which he said was his dream school. USC, his mom's dream school, and where mom wants him to be. So you never know who's going to win out in those battles, but he doesn't have to make a decision for a while anyway, because he's class of 2025. But Philip Bell's a 5-star wide receiver and somebody that USC is very, very strongly pursuing. Saw Xavian Brown, running back from Seattle, Washington, O'Day High School, the same high school that Taylor Mays went to. And this was his, I believe, third visit. He and Team FSP from Tracy Ford's program, Ford Sports, FSP, they were in town about a month ago for a 7-on-7 event, and Jason didn't get a chance to visit at that time. Didn't get a chance to visit with his team, but he went by himself the following Monday and got a chance to see USC. So he was back today. He said what today was another great opportunity to build his relationship with Kyle McDonald, Lincoln Riley, get a feel for how the program is run. And one of the biggest topics for him is player development and having the confidence in a coaching staff. And he has that very, in a great way for USC. Was told today at the 7-on-7 event we were at that this visit moved USC up. So I think there was a little bit more time with Lincoln Riley. And again, it's just he's not at the point where he knows where he's going to take his official visits yet. He's not sure if USC is going to get one. So how this all works out with recruiting is that it's you have to have interest on both ends. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how strong the interest is in Jason. I know that there are running backs. There's a lot of running backs USC's average, and Jason impressed me the first play that I saw him make when I was up in Seattle watching him play a couple of years ago, actually. But you have Nathaniel Palmer from Texas that's coming for an official visit. You've got Taylor Tatum, number 2 ranked running back in the country, is coming for an unofficial visit this in 2 weeks for the USC spring game, and then he's also going to come back in June for his official visit. So that one right there is something for USC fans to watch closely. Then there's Brian Jackson, and he's also going to be taking an official visit to USC. There's actually been a prediction for USC for him. But how this all is going to shake out in the end, we're really not sure. And you got some other guys that are planning on coming out to USC. But the one thing that Kyle McDonald does is he identifies the guys that he wants, and he goes out and gets them. So either way, USC is going to be good at running back. Also saw and spoke to briefly Jelani Davis from Mater Dei High School. He's a very, very talented cornerback, defensive back, probably very versatile player. He could play probably anywhere in the defensive backfield. And USC's one of his top schools, and he's planning on getting back for a visit at some point. The other day I was at a track meet, and I'll just kind of piggyback on the Mater Dei topic there. And Xavian Brown, he'll be taking an official visit. He's a 4-star cornerback at Mater Dei. He'll be taking his official visit in June. In fact, he'll be taking all of his official visits in June. And I think USC's in a good place right now. So you have Dakota Fields, who we're going to see tomorrow, and he's another top cornerback in the country from Sarah High School. And his visit from 2 or 3 weeks ago, I lose track of when these visits happen because there's been a lot of them. USC fans know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and that visit moved up Dakota Fields quite a bit with USC, and I think USC is going to be one of those schools that's going to probably be like Roderick Pleasant, where it comes down to USC and somebody else. Could be Oregon. Again, and it's going to be USC Oregon for more than those guys, come December and February. And also Brandon Baker and DeAndre Carter. We've always felt DeAndre Carter was probably the most likely to end up at USC of the two, but we're hearing Brandon Baker and USC is kind of becoming a thing as well, to where I think USC may be right there neck and neck with Oregon, where I think they were probably trailing by a little bit at some point here in the recent future. So those guys right now, right there, those three guys from the class of 2024 at Mater Dei are the top guys that USC is pursuing there. Kingston Biliamu-Asa is the top guy at St. John Bosco that USC is pursuing. Borderline 5-star linebacker, he's being recruited by Ohio State, Alabama, USC, Oregon, all the Pac-12 schools, coast to coast, and I think Stanford is a school to watch with him as well. This is one of the guys, when they start talking about academics matter, it's not just saying that, it actually really does. So I think USC and Stanford at the moment. I know there's been a prediction for Notre Dame. Maybe Notre Dame will get them. I don't think they will. Trying to think, there was also an extremely talented defensive lineman from West Bloomfield, Michigan, Brandon Davis Swain. Brandon at one time, he was committed to Notre Dame and decommitted in February. At that time, he told me he thought that he would visit USC at some point this spring. That visit, we'll call it the first visit. He visited yesterday and had a chance to talk with the coaches and spend some time on campus at USC. Brandon Davis Swain is a top. See where we have him ranked right now. He's a top 200 prospect. Again, you've got Michigan, USC, and a bunch of these big-time programs coming after him hard. I think Notre Dame is still pursuing as well. But he came back today to attend practice, so we haven't talked to him since the visit. But obviously he stayed for a couple of days and stayed for practice. So he was scheduled to come out last November when USC played Notre Dame and just was not able to make it. So he's now spent a couple of days at USC, which is obviously a good sign for the Trojans. Trying to think of what else was happening today that was... Joseph Stone, LSU commit. He visited USC yesterday. We had a chance to catch up with him today at the Passing Down 7-on-7 event that was going on at Baldwin Park High School, and he doesn't have an offer to USC. And he came out. I think he came out to do some 7-on-7. Had a chance to make his way over to USC. He says he's most definitely coming back for another visit. And I said, you're going to come all the way back to USC without a scholarship offer? And he brought up, he can go to a camp and. Here's a guy, let's just say this. I don't know whether it's actually going to end up happening or not. But we're talking again about a top 250 prospect. He's actually probably rated higher in some other services. So we're talking about a big-time prospect being pursued by several of the elite programs in the country. If he ends up coming back to USC to earn that scholarship, man, that'd be actually kind of cool, I think. Because nowadays, these kids just expect offers to come. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but there was a time when Pete Carroll was coaching at USC, I don't know if he ever wavered on it or not, but he never offered anybody without seeing him in person, like a real offer. I think, you had to come to our camp offers and stuff like that, even back when Pete Carroll was coaching. Maybe here's a favor, coach, from Santa Margarita or whatever. We'll give your kid an offer. But so if he comes back, he does earn that scholarship. That would be pretty huge. He's committed to LSU, strongly committed. But he is taking visits. He took a visit to Texas. I think he's going to go visit Ohio State next. So, look, he's a class of 2024, and I get it. You go take your visits when you're committed. You want to make sure. You never know what's going to happen with the coaching situation. But typically, the decommitment happens after visits start happening to other schools, and then kids are starting to think, well, gosh, maybe USC's not offering me because I'm committed to LSU, and he's from Georgia. He's from Rome, Georgia, Joseph Stone. But again, we'll see if he comes back. The one thing about USC, he's a receiver, could play DB as well. But if USC ends up getting him to come back, that will be something that I will be talking about a lot, whether USC gets him or not, because I think that's real cool. Anyway, I've rambled on enough about that. We have Marcellus Williams. I don't think I wrote anything after his last visit because there's been so many of them recently. They're all kind of the same. It's all kind of like, go over to practice with his dad, see his brother. Dante Williams is like family, so they're not going to get any closer. The Williams and Dante, the Williams family and Dante Williams. But another guy that we should mention here, after I just finished with Marcellus Williams, is that Marcellus Williams is going to have USC as, I don't know what the two schools will end up being. When it comes down to the final, USC is going to be one of those final schools. He is going to take an official visit to USC, and along with Jordan Lockhart. I think both those guys are going to take their official visit at the same time to USC in June. So we'll see if that ends up happening. But Aaron Flowers is a safety from Texas, and he came out to USC for a visit. Really, he said USC was his dream school. We hear that often. Most of the time, to be honest with you, the kids don't end up at their dream school. But Aaron Flowers came out. It was his dream school, so he wanted to at least check it out and see what it was like. He had a good relationship that he was growing with Alex Grinch and Lincoln Riley and USC coaching staff. Kyle McDonald, close relationship with him. Kyle does an outstanding job in Texas. And he was just blown away by his USC visit. And I haven't put one in yet. If I had to make a prediction, I would put one in for USC for Aaron Flowers. But there have been a couple of predictions for him. This was one of my favorite players that I saw at the Dallas Under Armour camp a few weeks back. Was really impressed with him, also personality-wise. This is an extremely bright kid, very focused, low maintenance. There's just really not anything to not like, except he doesn't live down the street from USC. Sometimes those guys, when it comes down to crunch time at the end of the recruiting process, it's a challenge to get those guys, especially with the two Texas schools embracing NIL like USC still hasn't. So anyway, just want to kind of give a brief update. We're going to start doing more of these videos. So I just kind of winged this one. So if it looked like it was a mess, it was, because I didn't prepare for this at all. I sat down at my desk here at the Courtyard Marriott in Santa Margarita, Foothill Ranch. I started looking at my computer, just started thinking of some things that want to happen today. But we're going to start doing more of these. But what we're going to do 100% every week that's going to be new is we will have a recruiting show, a We Are SC recruiting show. It's going to be me and a USC student at Annenberg. And so we'll introduce you to him. Probably next week is going to be our debut for this. We're going to try and make it 15 minutes to half an hour. Hopefully closer to 15 each time than it is closer to 30. There's sometimes certain times a year where there's more to talk about than there are others. I'm approaching the 15-minute mark right now. Don't think I'm not watching, because I think you guys lose your interest after about 5 minutes. But you're hanging in there probably right now. So I appreciate all of you for still watching at the 13:49-minute mark. So anyway, just want to kind of give you a heads up on that. We're going to be at the Under Armour next camp tomorrow at Mission Viejo. There's going to be probably a better turnout of class of 2025 kids from a USC perspective than there are 2024, at least from the guys that we haven't talked to a whole lot in recent times. But should be an event that we'll get some good content for, and we'll be publishing the updates tomorrow. May do some individual updates. I'll do kind of a scoop from the camp article and just kind of mention as many guys as possible, 10 to 15 guys, and how they looked and what schools they're looking at and whatever. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, come on, join us, those of you who haven't, at wearesc.com. We got Eric McKinney, Mark Colkin, Greg Katz, Chris Arledge, Rich Rubin, myself. We've got Adam Bradford. And now we've also got Peyton McMahon, who is helping us with our recruiting coverage, and Thomas Johnson's helping with our team coverage, maybe a little bit recruiting stuff too. So just come on over and join us. There used to be a commercial for a steakhouse out in Palm Desert area, LG's Steakhouse. It was like, come on over and have some dinner with us. I felt like I was talking like him right now. But anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.